Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're looking at Rivian. Rivian CEO says buying an ICE vehicle is like building a horse barn, and apparently the R2 platform, R2 vehicle will help pull more buyers towards Rivian, which I must say is good to know. Rivian shares have been doing extremely well lately. I bought this share when it was extremely cheap, and I'm obviously considering buying more just at better prices. Now, it's quite obvious that I do like the Rivian CEO, the Rivian company approach to what they're doing. And the other week, I got a comment about Rivian about why I wouldn't buy more Rivian shares at the current price. Because I obviously said I don't feel like buying any more shares at the current price. And that's simply because it wouldn't make full financial sense to me. With my financial circumstances at the moment, it wouldn't make sense. In fact, I'd rather wait until the price come back down just under $20, perhaps around $15. It'd be hard to see this price at $15 once again, but under $20 I'd be more confident. But even if I did buy at this price, I would just be careful not to buy too much, because I like to buy a lot of shares when the price is cheaper. That's what I did with Rivian in the first place, and now I'm up like 70% in gains. So I'd say my calculations have been fairly correct. Now back to the Rivian and the CEO. What do they have to say? EV maker Rivian is making a big year as production and deliveries gain momentum. And I knew it would gain momentum. They completed 20,000 vehicles delivered last year. It was absolutely incredible. I'm super thankful. They're looking to do 50,000 vehicles this year. I'm looking for them to do anywhere from 80 to 100,000 vehicles next year. It's moving at great speeds. And in my opinion, because Rivian is not just an electric company, they're also a software company, which in turns make them a tech company. People start pricing Rivian as a tech company, not just an electric company. Now, the company is looking toward the future with its next generation of products. In a recent interview, CEO RJ Scaringe compared buying an ICE vehicle this day and age to building a horse barn in the 1910s. He said the Rivian R2 products would help pull decisive buyers. Keep in mind that he said the R2 products, not just one R2 product, but multiple R2 products. The R2 platform will be very significant for Rivian. It will allow them to build cheaper models. But it looks like that's not just the only thing that they're interested in, just building cheaper models. They're interested in building multiple vehicles on the R2 platform. It's really interesting by Rivian. Very interesting stuff. And people have been fairly excited for the R2 platform. I'm fairly excited for the R2 platform. I'm also excited for the vehicles they can offer for buyers. And recently, Rivian was actually offering, well, throughout their entire inception, they've been offering quad motor for their electric vehicles. Recently, they started offering dual motor, which actually helps to bring the cost down. I think it's something that Tesla also does, and it helps to bring the cost down. If the vehicle can still run just as efficient, if not even more efficiently, bringing down costs for the company, putting the margins up, putting profits up, I'm all for that. So Rivian is on a hot streak lately as the EV maker begins to gain better visibility and control over its supply chain. The EV startup topped expectation in the second quarter, delivering over 12,640 EVs while confirming it's on track to deliver 50,000 annual production guidance. Fantastic. By the way, Tesla delivered around 52,000 vehicles last year, so Rivian is catching up fairly quick. At the moment, Polestar is just around 1 year ahead, and I would say it's looking likely that Rivian could seriously catch that up. Now, keep in mind, Polestar is bringing new vehicles to the market, and that will probably start with the Polestar 4, as the Polestar 3 has been delayed for about 3 to 6 months until early next year. We wait until early next year for the manufacturing of the Polestar 3 to begin. Now, the first dual motor R1T model with Enduro drive units rolled off the assembly line at its Normal, Illinois plant in May. Rivian says the new addition will help streamline production while lowering costs to assist its ramp up. So, if you can simplify your production, simplify your assembly line, you'll be able to manufacture more vehicles. This is genius by Rivian. Good job. This is what I mean. I really like the leadership. I really like the approach they're taking in this space, in the EV space, and in the tech space. Right now, they're just building out their name. They're just building out a brand in the USA. And eventually, that brand will get a lot of exposure enough that they can unleash that in Europe. And that's going to be quite exciting. If anything, I'd say we need more electric vehicle SUV competitors in European countries. I think that would be very interesting. A popular SUV of all time, especially in Europe, has always been Land Rovers, Range Rovers. And of course, you've got the other ones as well, such as Jaguars. You got BMW, you got Mercedes, you got Audi SUV. But everyone knows a Range Rover SUV. There's something about it. And I think Rivian wants to compete with Range Rover and Land Rover in this space. And I absolutely love it. It's genius. It's good. The thing about Rivian as well is that it's direct own. It's not a subsidiary to another company. Granted, Amazon and Ford, I do believe they have significant holding in this company, but I don't think it's a majority, and I don't think it's a controlling amount of shares. So I see Rivian as a direct own, and it's really good for me as an investor to own it. If I want to invest in Land Rover, Range Rover, or Jaguar, I'd have to invest directly into their parent company, which is Tata Motors. I don't have a problem investing in Tata. In fact, I regret not investing in Tata. A couple of years ago, Tata was super cheap in terms of share price. The share price has now gone up by huge amounts. I'm telling you, in the last few years, it's been on skyrocket, and it hasn't really been coming back down, which is something I haven't been particularly happy with, because I would like to invest in Tata because I do like Land Rover, Range Rover, and Jaguar. So when Rivian unveiled its performance dual motor version earlier this month, it actually gives customers 3 R1 powertrain options to choose from. The R1 platform, I do believe they use that platform to build the R1S and R1T. That's an SUV, and that's a pickup truck. Some would say those are very different vehicles, for very different purposes. SUVs are mostly for family members. The pickup truck is mostly for working, construction workers, people who want to carry a lot of things around with them. Sometimes it can be used for a family vehicle, but it's also an off-roading vehicle. So to use a platform and to use it for 2 different types of vehicles, there might be similarities, yes, but types of vehicles, that's impressive. Rivian has proven that they can use the same platform for different sort of vehicles, kind of. And that's good for the R2 platform because they intend to use that platform for different types of vehicles, which is really good. I'm looking forward to this from Rivian. So this is some of their offering, of course, dual motor, performance dual motor, quad motor. So it looks like they probably still offer quad motor. It's probably even more expensive, and obviously probably takes a lot more time to assemble. So added expense, takes them longer to build. So just charge customers more if they really want a quad motor. But why not simplify it and just offer them dual motors? All-wheel drive as well. I would just take that. I think quad motor is each wheel has its own motor. So technically in tricky terrain, that could be really helpful if your wheels can be rotated at different speeds, at different torque, at different power. That can be really beneficial. Just like how all-wheel drive is slightly better than rear-wheel drive or front-wheel drive, some would say quad motor can be better than all-wheel drive because all your motors can drive, but they can drive at different rates, which can offer you added benefits in tricky situations. The fact that if they're really still offering a quad motor, I think that makes even more sense. And obviously, if customers really want it that bad, they can pay extra for it. But I think it's mostly for off-roading. So I definitely think it's a niche audience. But still, looking forward to this. Now, with a starting price of around $70,000, the R1 series is out of reach for many customers. A problem Corinne said will be solved with Rivian's next generation R2 products. This is something that the CEO actually spoke about a few months ago on the MKBHB podcast. And I found that podcast really enjoying. Go check it out if you really want to learn what the CEO of Rivian had to say. They spoke a little bit about the R2 platform, and that was some good insights. If you'd like to learn more on the R2 platform, let me know. I'll make additional videos of this, of course. Just to let you know, Scoringe did say the next generation R2 products will help drive demand and pull a lot more customers across that jump with a $40,000 to $45,000 starting price. So That's a starting price around the Tesla Model Y, Tesla Model 3 area. Even the Polestar 2 and Polestar 4 will be around a similar price. So this is good by Rivian. This is good. They started with the more expensive vehicles, then they're going into cheaper models. This is perfect. Tesla did the similar thing. Polestar did the opposite. Polestar started with cheaper models, such as the Polestar 2, and now they're adding more expensive models. Which will work best? I think the Tesla effect has worked brilliantly, but I'd like to see how it will work for Rivian and how Polestar taking a different strategy will work for them. And it makes sense for Polestar doing what they do. It makes sense, of course. And it makes sense for what Rivian is doing. It absolutely makes sense. Different companies do different things because it makes sense to them. Thank you for watching. See you on the next one.